Crises are never a coincidence. When society panics, weakens, and loses direction, someone becomes wealthier. History shows us something very clearly. Fear is not merely an emotion. Fear is the oldest business model in human civilization, and a crisis is the most effective way to legitimize the flow of wealth toward those seen as saviors. In every major economic collapse, the same cycle repeats. The market falls, people panic, and wealth shifts hands. But the direction of that shift is always upward, always. A crisis removes the weak from the system and concentrates power in a single point. This is not an accident. This is a mechanism. In 1929, when the market crashed, millions lost their savings. Workers, farmers, shopkeepers. Everyone was destroyed. Yet the largest banks did not collapse. On the contrary, they became even stronger. How did this happen? Because while small banks went bankrupt, the big banks bought them for extremely low prices. A crisis wiped the market clean, and as a result, power accumulated in one place. A crisis is not destruction. It is cleansing. It sweeps away the powerless. In 2008, history repeated itself. Banks made profits for years from high-risk loans. When the system began to collapse, these institutions were on the edge of failure. So, what did governments do? They rescued them, meaning the revenue stayed in the private sector, while the loss was distributed across the public. We can describe this system very simply. Profits are private, losses are public. And to make people forget this, the blame for the crisis was always shifted. The market went crazy. Unexpected volatility, unforeseen shock, number. This mechanism was deliberately designed. More recently, during the pandemic, the world stopped. Streets emptied. Small businesses were forced to close. Millions lost their income. Yet during the same period, certain corporations recorded the largest profits in their history. Some saw their wealth increase tenfold. Once again, the crisis determined who rises and who falls. This time it was quieter, more invisible, and faster. Because when fear spreads, people give up their freedom. When fear spreads, control becomes normal, and wealth changes hands. A crisis is not used to destroy the economy, but to rebuild it, to rearrange the pieces. Who gains power? Who loses? Whose voice is heard? Whose voice is silenced? All of these are decided during a crisis. That is why crises continue to occur systematically. Through them, the system restores itself, and centralizing power becomes legitimate. Because in times of crisis, people do not ask questions. They only want solutions. And it is precisely in that moment that wealth changes direction. Fear is the most profitable product in history, and a crisis is its advertising campaign. This was true yesterday. It is true today. And it will remain true tomorrow. Understanding this game is the first and most important step in breaking it. If this video gave you a new perspective, share it, comment, subscribe. Because history does not hide answers, it simply waits quietly, and we begin to see them only when we are ready.